It's going right on. So we're live. First ever ambitious live stream. Really excited to be here. Um, we are just getting going. I'm looking forward to everybody jumping on right now. Excuse me because I do have a little bit of a cold. Picked up something while I was out this weekend, so I will be a little bit stuffy, but nonetheless, I'm excited to show y'all the presentation and talk about no-code development. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody start joining. This is the first time we're using Restream, which is a new live streaming software that allows us to deliver live streams across all of our social platforms at one time. So previously, we felt that it was too hard to access our live streams. So we subscribed to Restream so that we could bring the live streams to you wherever you're at. So instead of you having to jump through a few hoops, find the ambitious live stream yourself, now we're bringing the ambitious live stream to you. So excited to see some people join. Once you join, if y'all want to shoot a comment, I can see that pop up, and that's how I'll know that you are here. Doesn't look like we made it on LinkedIn yet. Let me see what's going on LinkedIn. It appears that LinkedIn is on. Let's see. Awesome. Cool. So I see some people coming in on LinkedIn. This is great. Okay, so Restream isn't showing me anybody here. But I guess if I see enough people, we can get started. Beautiful. Fantastic. Yes. Thank you so much for asking. I definitely caught a cold while out this weekend. But I didn't want to delay this. I think I can get through it. Right on. First time using Restream. Restream is a platform that allows us to bring our live streams to you so you don't have to come to us. We felt that it wasn't reasonable for us to ask y'all to leave where you are currently hanging out, whether that's YouTube Shorts, Instagram, or LinkedIn. And we thought it was a better idea to bring our live streams directly to y'all. So this is the first of many live streams. Really excited to announce that Ambitious is undergoing a major shift in our business, and that we are completely redesigning the product from the ground up, and we are emphasizing no code development as part of the strategy to help job seekers really stand out from the rest and really be ready for a new type of job market coming up in 2023, where we're going to continue to see some instability and reduction in staff from big tech companies. But I think we still see a bullish trajectory from startups in innovative spaces like AI, education, sports, medicine, and fields where there are still plenty of room for innovation. Himani's in the chat, and so if you all have any questions, she'll be moderating and reaching out. So by all means, let's get cracking. So can I just make sure everyone's seeing the presentation? This is the first time I'm using the software, so I just want to make sure that y'all can see the first slide. If y'all see the first slide, then I'll just jump right into it. Are y'all seeing ambitious slide number 1, how to stand out in the job market? I just want to make sure that I'm not going to speak to nothing. Yes, no, maybe so. Okay. I will assume that we are all looking at the slide deck. I'll just ping my team real quick just to make sure we're doing okay. Okay, beautiful. Thank you for confirming. Awesome. So welcome to the presentation. We're going to talk about how you can stand out in the job market as UX designer, UI designer. A lot of y'all who have recently joined the community are UI designers, and I've gotten to know a lot of y'all personally. Many of y'all have graduated from boot camps. Many of y'all are self-taught, or you've gone through online accelerators. But what's happening now is either you are focused on building your portfolio, you are struggling to land interviews, or you don't know where exactly you fit in the product stack. What's important to realize is that because you completed a course or a boot camp, or you're skilled in product design or UI design, you're actually well equipped to play different roles besides UI designer. And it's really important that you understand what the spectrum of opportunity looks like for companies that are going to continue to hire, right? So y'all are awesome, because web dev and UI UX design are the most highly sought after jobs in 2023. There's 28 million people worldwide currently learning web dev and UI UX design, making it one of the hottest skills to learn. However, the problem is that 70% of job seekers in the tech field stay unemployed for 60 days or more, um, for a variety of reasons. Perhaps they don't have the right portfolio, they lack the experience, um, maybe the consistency, or they just aren't being very strategic about how they are applying to jobs. Maybe they are someone who has a background in education, but they continue to apply to jobs at big tech companies like Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Oracle, etc. To be successful in the job market means to be kind of a business person at the same time, and understanding where your value is as a candidate. So the job market is changing. Companies are looking for a new type of a new archetype of employee or person to join their business. Nowadays, companies are looking for Swiss Army knife players who can wear multiple hats. And that's where the revolution of no code and self-serve development is coming to play. And that's where the market is heading going into 2023. Why? As you know, during COVID, we pumped a lot of money into the market. Technology companies grew at extremely rapid paces, and companies invested heavily into R&D of spaces that weren't ever explored. For example, blockchain, AI, virtual reality. Y'all are very aware of Facebook not being called Facebook anymore. It's called Meta, because big tech companies saw an opportunity to invest heavily into very speculative spaces like the metaverse, which turned out to be not as useful or relevant to the majority of the population. There's definitely a subset of people who are enjoying the metaverse, but it didn't turn out to be the business opportunity that Facebook had thought it to be. So now the market, and when I say the market, I mean the investor market or the public markets. These markets are not interested in speculating anymore. A lot of public market investors and private market investors have recently lost a lot of money investing in crypto, AI, speculative industries that um, like just completely dipped, right? Bitcoin is at a low, Ethereum is at a low. So now the investor market is prioritizing businesses that emphasize profitability over speculative growth. So now the market is looking at who's actually turning a profit, who's keeping their costs lean. And that's what these layoffs are all about. These layoffs aren't about companies not needing employees to perform their function. For example, notice how Twitter laid off the majority of their employees, but Twitter still functions perfectly fine, right? That's because Twitter was investing heavily in R&D. They were trying to get into payments, NFTs, but now Twitter themselves are prioritizing profitability, and that's one of Elon Musk's main motives, to chisel down, rethink how the business generates profits, and allocate new employees to initiatives that result in profits for the business. So that's the main reason, and that's the macroeconomic shift that's happening in the startup job market or mid market companies as well. So we're kind of getting into it. There's stark differences between how a startup approaches business and how big tech approaches business. Startups approach business at taking a very ROI based approach. They are not hiring a whole team of people at once normally. Typically, they have a role that needs to be backfilled, or they have an initiative that needs an owner that they are very intentional about, saying, hey, this initiative needs to drive 10 new registrations for us on a weekly basis, or it needs to book 30 new sales calls, or hey, we're spinning up a new product vertical and we need someone to develop a landing page and an automation and a sales pipeline for us to actually generate leads and book profit and revenue for the business. They're always looking at, hey, how can this hire for $100,000 a year, say that's your salary, how can that hire help us achieve $200,000 worth of revenue? because obviously that company needs to pay you, but also be able to spin up new projects and further their growth. Whereas on the contrary, big tech companies take a R&D approach to 70% of their initiatives. They're not taking in profits, but they're looking at long-term outlooks, because these companies have 8-figure balance sheets, meaning they have tens or hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank that need to actually get cycled through the system. And that's how they're going to continue to further their advantage over the crowd. That's why we call big tech like, you know, monsters or Goliaths, because they're constantly investing in new, even if they're unprofitable, they're constantly investing in new initiatives and new projects that give them a leg up. Because if they invest in 100 things, maybe half of them or less than half, or even if 2 or 3 of them hit, it's definitely worth their while. So a very stark difference between how startups approach hiring versus big tech. Startups hire ninjas, and I love the word ninja. A ninja is someone who has a "I'll get it done" type of mentality. That's who startups look for. A ninja understands multiple tools and how those tools are used in conjunction to drive business outcomes. This person can be relied on to take a project end to end with little guidance and really put the business at the forefront of their decision-making process. For example, if you are a UI designer, it's important to understand what the product that you are building is achieving for the end user. And also, the product that you're building, how is the business going to market it? How is the business positioning it? Who is the end user, and how can you put yourself in their shoes, and really figure out, hey, like, this experience that I'm designing as a UI designer, is it going to be worth paying for, or whatever the measurable outcome for that business is going to be? So when you have this ninja like mentality, and I've actually seen many cover letters, and I've seen many people in their resumes actually say that they're a ninja, and it's a very commonly used term, particularly in maybe millennial Gen Z focused businesses. But the word ninja is not a inappropriate thing to throw around when you're trying to represent yourself as a candidate. So there are definitely a ton of ways that you can be a ninja. And I think I'm very passionate about no-code tools as a way to differentiate yourself and become that ninja who has more than one superpower and can take a business to the next level. One of those ways is by learning no-code tools. And no-code has been thrown around so much in social media and in the market lately. It's important to understand some of the major functions that learning a no-code tool can unlock for us. Learning a no-code tool, you'll be able to build websites and apps. You'll be able to automate complex workflows. Maybe something that currently requires a business to employ 2 or 3 people, you can now automate using no-code tools and drag and drop automation builders like Zapier. One huge advantage of no-code tools is that they're easy to use, and they require some conceptual software development knowledge, but not hands-on coding. But you need to understand at least some of the basics of like variables and data and how APIs and webhooks work. But those are things that are very conceptual that you can learn very quickly. And a lot of people previously were saying that no-code tools are very limited in what you can build with them. It's very not true now. No-code tools are extremely powerful, especially with the rise of AI like ChatGPT and GPT-3. You're now seeing no-code tools be able to use that AI technology and spin up websites based on a prompt. So I'm not sure who has used GPT-3 or ChatGPT, but it's really, if you have, you can see the value that GPT-3 can bring, where I can say, hey, I can ask any question to GPT-3, and GPT-3 is using a underlying AI that's based on previous knowledge to predict what it needs to tell me next. So think about this use case. What if now you don't even need to write copy, and you can be a UI UX designer and use a tool like ChatGPT to now be a UI designer with experience in writing copy? Or you can use ChatGPT for actually spinning up websites. Say, hey, build me a website or a landing page for a new mobile app in the education space. And GPT-3 will understand what you want, what you're asking for. It will then go interface Figma and create you a design for a landing page. These are things that we'll start to see more and more of as GPT-3 gets more powerful, and as we start intersecting no-code tools with generative AI technology. Excited to see if any of y'all have played with GPT-3 or ChatGPT. So what are some no-code tools that are really beginner friendly? I think these ones are the basics that you should be absolutely adding to your arsenal. If you're a beginner and you want to learn no-code tools, understanding Figma is important so you know how to design interfaces and actually bring them and actually be able to design the interaction between maybe different screens or button clicks. So Figma is really important from a design perspective. You can design apps, websites, marketing graphics, and much more using Figma, and Figma is only getting more powerful. The best part is it's totally free and you just need a computer and a browser and you can start designing with Figma. And the next step from there is being able to take those Figma designs and bringing them to life. And my favorite no-code drag and drop website builder is Webflow. And the reason I like it is because Webflow is a developer first drag and drop website builder that enables you to create extremely beautiful websites with almost zero limitations. You can do anything with Webflow. You can create a marketplace, you can create a job board, a store, a blog, and you can customize it literally down to the last pixel. It's as if you have a beautiful interface and you're writing a bunch of CSS and HTML. So what I've seen is people take websites from Figma to Webflow and bring them to life, and you can then publish your website using Webflow. But then the next step from there is like, hey, how do I make my app more interactive or have more business function, right? This idea of business function is what I think UI UX designers can stand out from the crowd by understanding. If you can understand how a business uses a landing page to and what the downstream workflow is going to be, you can then apply that same kind of thought process and automate using Zapier. For example, if you have a website that has a sign up form for a wait list, you can automate taking that email address from the waitlist form when it gets submitted, sending it to Zapier. Zapier processes it and then sends it to multiple destinations downstream. For example, one of those destinations could be send that email to MailChimp or Beehive. So you can follow up with that customer on an email or add them to a drip email campaign, right? Or you can take that email and send it to Slack. So now your whole team in Slack gets notified that, hey, we just got a new lead. This is their email. In case you have a sales rep around and you want to push a personal touch to that customer. So that's just a very basic example of how you can use Zapier to take data from one destination, process it, and send it to multiple downstream destinations, right? Um, Airtable is a database. It is a way for you to essentially create a place to store data and read and write from it and keep track of it without having to know a complex database language like SQL or MySQL or MongoDB. Airtable is a beautiful drag and drop interface that you can read and write data from an interface either using Zapier or even there are many other like no-code app builders like Flutterflow or Softer that have direct integrations with Airtable that can read and write data. So, and Flutterflow. Flutterflow is my absolute favorite no-code mobile app builder. Using Flutterflow, anybody can create a mobile app. I've been building mobile apps for 10 years. I built my first app when I was 14 years old for a high school project, and it was the hardest thing of my life. And I was like, how do people do this? You had to learn Objective-C at the time to write mobile apps, but now literally you can just drag and drop buttons, text inputs, wire them up to a Google Firestore database, and you have a fully functioning app that could provide value to somebody. Using Flutterflow, I was able to build an app that uses GPT-3 to help social media creators generate content ideas and hashtags. And I charge $20 per year to use it, and it's generating me passive income. This was an idea I had in the middle of the night. And because I had an understanding of like, hey, I had an understanding of how to develop UIs, and I had a business problem that I knew there needed to be a solution for, which was helping social media creators. I was able to watch a few YouTube videos in the middle of the night and put together a really awesome, a really basic app actually that doesn't look beautiful, but yields a lot of business value for that group of people, which are social media creators. So if you're interested in the intersection of UI design and app design, definitely look at Flutterflow. Excuse me, 1 second, I'm blowing my nose. Hey, what's up? I'm back. Right on. So the no code landscape is increasing in size every single day, but the major players are here to stay. And this is a really good example of how wide the no code landscape is. And there are so many different applications out there that are good for specific tasks. For example, databases. Like I said, Airtable is fantastic. It's pretty much the go to for almost everyone who's doing no code development these days who want to read and write data. Web apps, Softer is a major player, Bubble is a major player. Softer is really great for beginners. It's really easy to put together almost any type of website. They have templates out there where you can create job boards, marketplaces, e-commerce stores. Maybe you want to run a paid community, or you want to start your own agency and create a members only portal where you can give out free content, or you can give out premium content, or you want to gate access to certain features to your community. You can do that through Softer. Bubble is very, very powerful and extensive. It's important that you understand the fundamentals of software development before you try to get into something like Bubble. I would recommend starting with Softer. And then if you are seeing that there's limitations in Softer, potentially like hitting REST APIs and reading data back and forth from a REST API using Softer, that's where something like Bubble will probably be a better bet. Um, Automations. Zapier is the king of automations right now. Pretty much Zapier allows you to take data from from one source and map it to any destination, or be able to automate workflows. For example, if an event happens in your landing page and you want to send an email and you want to schedule something for later and you want to add a reminder to your colleague's Google Calendar to follow up with that prospect, you can do all of that through Zapier. Whereas previously, if you didn't have an automation tool like Zapier, you would have to hire a assistant to take that email, follow up with them, and then schedule a follow up with your sales colleague to follow up and actually close that deal. But now a lot of that is possible with Zapier, and frankly, that's how we're seeing a lot of these one person businesses scale up to large revenue numbers. So, a bit more about the no code landscape. Um, Here's some kind of ideas I had for someone who's a UI designer who wants to become a ninja. So, say you're able to design a landing page in Figma, you should be able to bring that to life using Webflow. That's going to really sell a business on why they should hire you. If I'm on Upwork or I'm interviewing someone I met in an online community and I say, "Hey, can you design me a website for a startup?" and you say, "Yes," you should also be able to tell me, "I not only can design it for you, but I have experience bringing it to life using Webflow. So you don't have to look for a web developer. I can handle the end-to-end development for you." That's going to allow you to stand out from the crowd for sure. I know as an entrepreneur, as a startup founder, I'm looking for people who can do two things not at once, but who have experience in doing relevant tasks and be really good at those. Or you can become a ninja web marketer, right? Specialize in creating awesome, high converting email capture forms. Y'all are UI designers. You should be focused on how do you build experiences that are delightful for end users, but from a business perspective, drive click-through rates, drive conversion rates, and and increase those measurable outcomes that a business is looking for, right? So a bit more about conversion rates and click-through rates we can talk about in another discussion. But what's really important is that as designers or as web developers or marketers, you specialize in a certain niche and get really good at those, right? When you create these email capture forms, it's very likely that you're going to have to do many things when a lead comes in. We all know leads are very, very critical. And at one point, they're very hot. And it's important not to let them cool down. If a lead comes through your email capture form, it's probably a great idea to follow up with them and let them know, "Hey, I'm here for you. What are your problems? Why'd you sign up? Is there something that I can do for you?" Maybe you send them newsletters or blogs or educational content to keep them excited and nurture them through your funnel. At some point, that person will be really will build their trust for the business, and you can convert them into a paying customer, right? Um, what we do at Ambitious App is we build email capture forms for our social media. We also collect your email when you sign up for the app. Then we use Zapier to kind of send that email to our email marketing service, and we also alert our community members in our Slack so that we know, hey, somebody new joined. We should follow up with them and make sure they're having a great experience. So When you talk about user experience, even that customer journey is important to understand as a UI designer. And yes, low code, no code developers can make great money. I think it's very reasonable to be charging anywhere between $30 to $100 per hour if you are a really strong no code, low code developer. I've seen apps that can be made in less than 20 hours or even less than 50 hours. And that allows you to charge a very high hourly rate, right? If you are able to build an app that would normally take you 100 hours and you can do it in 30, so now you don't have to charge $40 an hour. You can bump up your rates to over 100, right? Because you're doing things a lot quicker. That's the beauty of a lot of these tools that are coming out. So yeah, where can you find these no-code jobs? There are a ton of really cool marketplaces that are popping up. I've linked to two here. Join No Code is, or sorry, We Love No Code is a great one, and I linked another one here. I can't remember the name. Code Map, sorry. So those are linked here. I'll be sharing the presentation with y'all so you guys can get access to this. But definitely keep an eye out. I think there's going to be more and more no code jobs popping up day by day. And then where do you want to learn these skills? We're building the Ambitious app, as y'all know. We are building the first ever mobile first learning experience to learn no code tools and digital skills from your phone. So our mission here is to help the busy learner, the career transitioner, or job seeker learn on the go in just 5 minutes a day. We launched our private beta about 2 months ago. We've been listening to y'all's feedback, and now we're developing a brand new version of the app from scratch that we call V2, where we will be relying heavily on vertical video content, that TikTok style, but produced in a very professional manner that incorporates interactive elements like quizzes for knowledge retention and gamification so that we can keep y'all excited about learning new skills without having to write any code. We want to crack that stigma that in order to make good money in tech, you need to learn how to code. That is absolutely false. We are focusing on skills like UI design, web development, no code, and career confidence skills to help you change that mindset and really take the next step and position yourself differently in the job market. So even if you don't want to get a job and you want to start your own business, or you have an idea in the back of your head that you came up with, I don't know, while on a walk, you should be able to get on your computer and in less than an hour prototype that business idea. And that's what no code tools enable. You don't need an expensive developer or fancy tools or a $10,000 to $100,000 budget to launch a startup anymore. You can be launching startups using no code tools for less than $100 and just a few hours of your time. And that's our mission, is to unlock economic prosperity and to unlock opportunity for y'all that y'all deserve to have. Anyone with a smartphone should be able to learn digital skills. So join our community on Slack. We'll be doing more of these live streams, hopefully about once a week, if not more. And we are producing really awesome content for our app that will be available exclusively in the Ambitious app that we're excited to show y'all. So thank you for joining. I hope this was insightful. If there is anything that we can do for you in the Ambitious community, come join our Slack and we'd be happy to help you.